So today we are going to do few examples on abstraction. As per the definition, abstraction means you're going to hide some part of the implementation. But in the actual sense, what we do is we have a class which has few methods, which is completely implemented, and there are few unimplemented methods. That means I have an idea what a class should contain, what kind of methods, but I don't know how to implement it. I make those functions as or methods as abstract. I'll give one example right now. I'm going to create a package as com.abstraction, create a main function. Okay. Now I'm going to create one more class here. In this, I have, let us say, void play. Okay. Here I'm just implementing the method. So when you implement the method, it is very easy to create an object of that particular class here. I can easily say my class and C is equal to new my class C dot play. So when you run this, there is no problem at all. This is like a normal class. Now, when does my class become abstract? When I have a method which is not implemented. I don't know the implementation of the dance. So this method, if I don't know the implementation, I should keep it as abstract. And if even one method in the entire class is abstract, then the whole class will be abstract class. When we do something like this, you get an error here saying that cannot instantiate the type my class, which means you cannot create an object of the class which is abstract. Even one method is not implemented, the whole class becomes abstract, and you can never create an object of the abstract class. So if I give c.dance, it doesn't know what to do with it. So hence the declaration or the initialization of this particular object itself, the creation of object itself is banned. Now, how can I access this? What I'll do, current class example, I'm going to extend. That means I'm inheriting from my class. So basically what is happening, my class is the parent, example is the child. Now, if you hover on that, it is saying add unimplemented method, which is the method which is abstract dance. That is the one which is not implemented. When I do this, I'm going to override the dance method. Now, your example class can have its own implementation of the dance method. What I should do here, instead of taking my class, which was abstract, I will instead take example. And now I can access c dot dance as well. So basically what you did in this class, we had a function which was implemented. We had a function which was not implemented. Since it is not implemented, it is called as an abstract. Even one function is abstract, the whole class becomes abstract. You cannot create an object of an abstract class. Hence, what we did, we went for the inheritance. That is, example class is inheriting from my class. This method will be automatically available for C, but we have to make sure that the dance method should be overridden. If it is not overridden, example see what you have created here, that is the object that you have created, it will not allow that particular class to create an object. Now, what if I had intermediate class in this? I have a class called as student, okay, which is extending my class. That means now student is the child and my class is the parent. I'm going to add unimplemented methods. Now the unimplemented method is dance. So here, what I'm going to do, I'll remove this part for now. Okay. And I'm not extending it to my class. I'll keep it as a simple example class. And student is the one who is extending from my class. Okay. Now let me take one more function, which is abstract. This also doesn't have any implementation. Now, if you see, it is going to give you error. What if I knew what to do when the dance function is called, but I don't know what to do when it comes to sing? If I don't know how to implement it, I have to keep this method as an abstract method here. Now, since one function is abstract, I told you before, this whole class becomes abstract. Okay. Can I create an object of student? No, because student class is not a normal class, it is abstract. If you want, you can try. If you give student s is equal to new student, it is going to throw you error. You cannot instantiate it because it has one method which is not implemented. So what I'll do, I'll create a multi-level kind of a thing here. We have grandparent, which is my class. We have parent, which is student, which is inheriting from my class. We will make example as the child of student. So what it should do, extends student. So when I do this, then I'll create an object of example, but I'll have to implement that sing method. So when I do add unimplemented method, sing will automatically appear here. I'm going to just write one small note. Okay. Now, there is no errors at all. Multi-level inheritance because this is the grandparent, this is the parent, and this is the child. The child has sing function implemented, which is inheriting from student. Student has dance function implemented, which is inheriting from my class. My class has play method implemented. So dance and sing is implemented when it comes to example because it is inheriting dance from student and it has its own overridden method called as sing. Can I access it? E dot play, E dot sing, E dot dance. So now if I run this, you will notice everything is getting executed. Okay, this is abstraction. First one, we did abstraction with just one parent, one child. Here we have done the abstraction with multi-level because the in-between parent didn't have one of its method implemented, hence it is an abstract, so the whole class becomes abstract. That is why you have your example class, which is extending from student, so that this method is implemented by overriding. Once it is implemented, your object E is created with respect to the latest child, that is the example, and you can access all three functions.